Warning, what you are about to hear is two guys talking completely unfiltered.
Cut. What are you doing? We don't do disclaimers. The show's called Totally Unprofessional for a reason.
I'll see what you did. You're wasting our intro time.
Yeah. Start the show.
All right, welcome back. We are episode
30.
Hitting 3 series digits. Shit, hasn't been that many already, huh?
Yep.
Fuck, man. Louis was listening to some the other day.
Yeah.
He's texting me as he's listening to him, and I'm laughing because he's like, man, I can't stop laughing. I'm like, well, which one are you listening to? And he's like, all of them. I was like, oh, damn, are you serious? He's like, well, you guys say some stupid shit. And I was like, but you're laughing, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. I was like, oh, then what the hell? So, yeah, I did getting some feedback from some random people. I was talking to my brother when you got here. He said, give me a shout out on the podcast. So a shout out to my brother, who incidentally is a 38-year-old today, but he's also a 38-year-old pussy from what I understand, because he went to get a tattoo and he's crying like a little bitch. Yes, you heard me, Flacco. Crying like a little bitch. Can't talk with my tooth in. So he went up and got his Latin tattoo, USMC across his chest, YMEX, for those of you that don't know the Latin translation. Also got a cat in a hat. I'm a little curious about that. He's going to have to give me some more backdrop on that. I'm not real sure what the hell that's about.
Could be a Dr. Seuss fan.
Oh, I don't know. I'll have to ask him. I hate to speculate when it comes to my brother. But, yeah, no, definitely. He put a post up on Facebook, and he's got the cover on his chest, and he's got his wife beater on, and it's a little bit of blood coming through it. And it's like, oh, and he's like, oh, it hurt. I was like, oh, boo-hoo. It's a good thing your mommy went to see you.
Oh.
You know, he's like, oh, you're right. It's funny.
Cold-blooded.
But, yeah, for sure, I don't know what made him want to get a tattoo all of a sudden. He's been retired for over a year now, but he's a lifelong Marine, and they'll tell you those guys, they're once a Marine, always a Marine, so touche to him.
Welcome to the tattoo club.
Yeah, no shit. He's got more than I do, I think. Actually, I'm sure he does. But he retired a little over a year ago. Man, it might have been about a year ago. 19 years, got his full, they gave him credit so he'd get his full retirement. He's multiple tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. He definitely one of those guys you're proud to have in our society because he served the country and he served the country well. And he was someone that was born to do it. He loved it. So always thanks to the men and women serving. We got lots of love for him. So busy sports week? No, not till yesterday. Football officially started yesterday. Actually, it was Wednesday, wasn't it?
No, it was yesterday.
Oh, it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Preseason football open. My boys went at it a little earlier. Lost to the Vikings by 1. It's preseason, no stock put in it, but you like to see certain things from certain players.
Yeah.
I was just telling Justin, I'm a little bit conflicted. I was a big Andy Dalton fan, and every time I see AJ McCarron, he gets better and better.
You think of his wife. Oh, no.
I looked at one picture of his wife. She's good looking. I'm just, me. I'm not. She's a small woman, and
You like a little more meat on the bones.
I like the meat on the bones, so yeah. But every time
you
I
like
see
your meat, or you like your women like you like your chicken with a little bit of fat on the end. I get it.
Yeah, sure, we can say it that way.
We get it. Just like you like your coffee black and strong, like you like your men. We get it.
You weren't supposed to share that on air. Come on now.
It's called Totally Unprofessional.
Yeah, that's right. I keep forgetting, don't I? But yeah, we were. Every time I watch a video of him, I watched a lot of the training camp videos, and he looks strong. Looks like he's getting healthier. I wasn't a big fan of his coming out of Alabama. I never felt like he was the reason they did anything good, but coming to see that this guy can actually play, and we have a situated quarterback. He's 5 years in, but I'm gonna tell you what, McCarron's gonna give him a run for his money over the next year, and they're gonna have to make a decision on Dalton's long-term future here. And when I say long-term, he'll be in his second contract. They're going to have to make a decision on whether they want to try to bargain him out and keep McCarron and go younger, or try to get something for McCarron before McCarron leaves, And I like Dalton. I think he's I think he's very underrated for a quarterback. I don't think he gets his due. Find me someone else who's made the playoffs 5 times in a row. I don't care if they win or not. The guy's a winner. They'll find the right formula to get a little further, but for now, I mean, the guy, he can lead the team, so be interesting to see. Right now,
currently, my team playing the Raiders. They're playing the Cardinals right now. 3 threes to score.
I was just commenting to him too. The Raider defense held the Cardinals offense to a field goal in the opening possession, and that's not a weak offense they're playing, man.
No.
That's a strong offense, and that's a good show for the Raiders. The offense has looked looked decent. Carr
3 for 7 for 44
we're both
yards.
fans of Carr and Cooper, and then you've seen Crabtree make some good catches already. That team's definitely going to be one to watch in the AFC West this year.
And thanks to my girlfriend, I'll be watching them in person. I get to go watch them play the Panthers this year at home, so it'll be a good game. Get to see Cam Newton play.
Yeah, I was telling her when she was asking me about if you would like him. I was like, yeah, that's actually Cam Newton's one of the guys I'd like to see before he retires. You know, I did get to see Michael Vick in Frisco once. I did get to see LaDainian Tomlinson, which was another one I really wanted to see. On that same note, Antonio Gates, you know, just certain players you get to see that you know are going to be namesakes for as long as the NFL lives. They'll be compared to people, you know. And he was definitely somebody I wanted to watch before he retires. Don't know when he'll come back, but I'm not real big on going to Raider games if I'm not watching Cincinnati. So that's a different situation for me. But definitely, a lot of football starting. It'll be like 5 days a week right now, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, maybe
Give or
some Mondays.
take,
Yeah. College starts up in another week. I mean, we got
some stuff going on.
You're going to be some football overload here pretty soon.
First week of the Olympics in the books.
Yeah.
USA basketball, for as dominant as they've been today, both teams struggled.
They're saying this team is as heavy a favorite as the U.S. has ever had, which is pretty ballsy considering that 92 team that went in, you know, as they were overwhelming favorites. They had a hard time with Australia the other night. They had another hard three-point game win with Serbia today.
94-91 was the final.
What? You're the basketball guy. What's the problem here?
There's things about the NBA players that people don't get when they watch the Olympics. There is no other sport that you're watching where pretty much everybody in competition-wise that you're playing against are amateurs. And the one team that you have as the United States are all pros.
Yeah.
If you look at volleyball, tennis, all those men are professionals playing against other professionals. And majority of them, they see at some point during a season. In the NBA, it's not like that, where you see majority of the people, or you're seeing them for the first time in these tournaments that get you qualified, in the world tournaments that get you qualified, or in the Olympics. Now, granted, there's 10 or so players that are spread out throughout these other countries that play in the NBA that you do see.
Yeah.
But for the most part, these guys are all amateur players, and I'm sorry, but playing overseas professionally just isn't competition level of the NBA.
Oh, we've had that conversation before,
And so when you come into this as such a heavy favorite and you're beating people by 40, 30, and just smoking everybody you're seeing, you start to get comfortable a little bit. And teams are going to be gunning for you. And all it takes is one bad night. Well, they struggled a little bit out the gate with Venezuela.
Yeah.
And turned around and then came out and wound up winning the game at the end, pulled away in the second half and won. In this game, they were slow out the gate. They couldn't shoot. Klay Thompson looked like shit right out the gate. In the first half, I don't think I saw Draymond Green play very much, if at all, when I was watching the game.
You see the whole game?
I saw all the way through the third quarter.
What did Melo look like? He's coming off a 31-point game.
I mean, it was a hit and miss thing for him. You know, he didn't look fantastic, but he didn't look horrible. It was like, okay. There were 2 technicals given, and what they call an unsportsmanlike foul, which is different in the Olympic play.
Must be an international thing.
Yeah, DeAndre Jordan and a guy, they were going down towards the block. Jordan went to catch the ball, and their arms were tangled together, and he just kind of threw his arms forward, and the guy sold it. He's known. Doug Collins pointed out that guy's known for flopping, and there is a flopping rule in international play, but they didn't call. They called an unsportsmanlike foul on DeAndre Jordan for it. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. The center from Serbia was super physical, like dropping his shoulder and popping DeMarcus Cousins and DeAndre Jordan back, making them take a couple steps back. Just playing physical. I think that a lot of teams come in and they're mentally out of this game with the Team USA. That when you look at somebody like Kevin Durant and DeAndre Jordan and all the stars that make up Team USA, that you can quickly be taken out of that game just by being in awe of these guys. And when the team comes in and plays physical with you and they don't let up, guess what? Now you're forcing Team USA to have to put in work that they're not normally putting in.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what happened here. Serbia was very physical with them. While Team USA, if you watch the second half of their last game against Venezuela, they were very active on defense and had a whole lot better pressure in the second half. This game out the gate, Their pressure was horrible. They were caught in a lot of scrambles.
Oh, wow.
And they got beat where they were giving up dunks and layups in these scrambles.
Oh, wow.
I mean, it really looked really, really bad. They looked flat-footed. So I think that just when you come out and you play physical where you're not afraid of Team USA and all it takes is them to shoot poorly, you have an opportunity to win, and they showed that tonight.
Huh. Women, same thing. A little bit of problems.
They started off rough with Canada. They're averaging 111 points a game.
Oh, wow.
And in the first half, it was only a 9-point game.
Wow.
And I think both teams were under 40, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy. I was watching the women's soccer team actually got eliminated from the Olympics today.
Which continued a streak I don't know if you're aware of or not. Anybody that's won the World Cup has not won the medal in the Olympics.
And they just won the World Cup. Yeah.
So they were bound to face that curse.
Yeah. Well, I'm not a big believer in curses. I think you're either ready or you're not. And I think of
You're also an Andy Dalton fan.
I think of all the U.S. teams going in with confidence. That women's soccer team has been dominant for so long. You want to talk about going in just thinking that it's going to be handed to you? That might be the classic example. Was that women's soccer team? There's no way Sweden should have been within a goal of them.
No,
it should not have been.
I think that Hope Solo was out of line with her comments after the game.
You know what? But she is known for doing that.
But I think she says things more for shock value than anything else. When she had her book, she said stuff about the Olympic teams fucking in the Olympic Village and all this stuff, which I'm sure is probably very much true, which means there's more super athletes on the way. Yeah. But in all sincerity, like, she said things that are controversial for the sake of saying things that are controversial.
Yeah.
And for her to say, "Oh, we played a bunch of cowards," that team wasn't cowards.
No, that team stood up to them at every chance they had and took it to them. I would say borderline. They got out hustled a couple times. You can't throw that. I'm not a big fan of the shootout. I mean, I know it's how they settle it, but you can't put that on just the goalkeeper. She's going to do her best to guess, and both of them missed one, and Hope ended up missing two, and that's that ends up being the difference. And
she didn't even get caught like diving. She got caught standing straight up.
Well, she's guessing wrong. So when the ball goes the other way, she's not going to try to dive back and hurt herself. I think this one falls on Alex Morgan a little bit.
There was another girl that missed a penalty kick as well.
When you're starting out the penalty kicks, you're supposed to set the momentum. That's why she went first. She is the best player on that team, the best striker. So when you send your first person out there, generally that's your best scorer. That's your highest chance for score because you need to start the momentum of the team going. When she missed that first one, you're kind of sitting there going, oh shit. If you're Hope Solo, you're going, okay, wow, I might have to bail her out now. And Hope guesses wrong, and it's until it was 2-2, you're looking at Sweden up. So a little bit of it falls on Alex Morgan.
I disagree because I think that much like in what we've talked about in basketball or in football, in a team sport, a game does not hinge on one play.
Well, I would agree, except for the fact that the penalty goes to individuals. If they were to hinge it completely,
but it shouldn't get there.
No, I agree, it shouldn't. But the problem is that you get there. You get to the point where it hinges on a specific individual performance. That's why the selection of those 5 strikers is deadly important.
But that means that it's not Alex Morgan's fault completely. If she was the only one that missed it and they lost 5-4,
I don't want to blame her for it.
Good, because she's too good looking to put her blame like that.
I'm saying a lot of the weight falls on her for that reason.
You know better than that. Good looking people don't get problems like that.
So, unfortunately, women's U.S. soccer, not even a medal match. Eliminated in the quarterfinal. They are out of the Olympics. So, if you're single and you're in the Olympic Village, then apparently Hope Solo will be looking for someone tonight. Is that safe to say?
Yes.
So,
somebody looking for a roast beef sandwich?
Wow.
If you don't believe me, look at the pictures. You can find Google Hope Solo leaked photos. You'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Roast beef sandwich.
Raiders just scored a touchdown.
That's totally unprofessional. Anyways, so yeah, they're eliminated. Phelps, a couple more gold medals.
Tied for third, did we see tonight?
Yeah.
Or three-way tie for second.
Three-way tie for second, so he'll have a silver medal there.
How many medals is that for him overall?
I believe he's up to 23.
23, right?
22 or 23 is
It's 23 overall. I think it's 21 or 22 gold. Yeah.
So this guy apparently hasn't aged in swimming pool years because he's still looking like one of, if not the best swimmer in the world. There's some talk about him retiring. There's some talk about him not retiring. Coach seems to think he'll come back only because he enjoys the competition and the people saying that he shouldn't come back, and he's still coming back. Mind you, this guy is still only probably like, what, 28?
Yeah, I believe so.
So he's young still. He's relatively young, and the guy is a beast working out.
Let him smoke a couple bowls and come back and do it again.
Smoking bowls. You saw all those bruises on him, right?
Yeah,
so
the
you're about
cupping.
to talk. It's the Chinese therapy, blood flow therapy.
It's cupping, yeah.
Yeah, I think he's getting it done in a massage parlor too.
Okay. I ain't mad at him. It worked for Tiger.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at
him. I saw an article and they were doing that the other day because it's not just him. There was a bunch of them showing up with those big old bruises.
The cupping marks, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It looks disgusting. Have you ever seen what it looks like when they're doing it?
Yeah, it looks ugly.
It looks disgusting when you see them with the cups on them.
Yeah, it looks ugly, but the results aren't lying. Apparently, it does really help. So maybe
the other two things I've heard of lately that people are trying is the cryotherapy, where you get into the frozen tank for a few seconds and then you get back out, and a floating tank.
Floating tank.
Yeah, it's like a zero gravity floating tank is what it is. It's weird. So you gotta look at that.
Takes the weight off your body. Will let your muscles 100% relax. Not like lying down where you've still got some pressure on you. So wow, interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, hey, congratulations to Phelps. He's pushing. It looks.
I think he's cheating. His ears are extra. I'm telling you.
I said flippers on there, right?
That's right.
The female swimmer Ledecky.
Yes.
She's kicking some ass. She's at a world record in the 800 free.
Yep.
Definitely someone to watch for the next set of Olympics too. She's gonna do well throughout these Olympics, but then again, she is the #1 swimmer in the world when it comes to women. So should be an interesting
the
finish
other
up.
swimmer, I forget what her name is. She's the first black female or black swimmer to win a gold medal.
Manual. I can't think of her first name though. It's something Manual.
Yeah.
Yeah. She won that the other day.
Oh, Raider interception.
Was it the big man with the ball? Oh
no, Nate Allen with the interception.
Just go down, dude. The report. So, any other Olympic stuff you want to touch on?
Beach volleyball. The United States women kicking ass still. I mean, it's wicked, dude. One of the women leaves out of the team that's been #1 forever, and they pick up the silver medalist to be the other person, and it's like they haven't missed a beat. So hopefully they keep going. Medal count. Last I saw, the United States was up by 8 medals.
They just have so many athletes in everything, so
I think that's the melting pot, though. That is the United States, man.
Finish off some soccer news. Messi's going to return to Argentina.
Did anybody think that he really wasn't?
Yes.
Who, you?
Yes.
Then you're a sucker.
Well, it wasn't even just me. There was a lot of reports on him saying that the international travel was not worth him coming back. The dude lives in Europe. Okay. He hasn't been in Argentina for that. Let's relate it to something closer. Be straight up.
Okay.
This is like me saying I'm Puerto Rican.
Technically, you are.
Technically, he's Argentinian.
Okay.
Right? But he hasn't lived there since. I've never been to Puerto Rico.
Okay.
I like to say for my family heritage sake, but it.
Yeah. I get you.
So I mean.
But if you didn't believe he was coming back, then something's wrong.
He's chasing. He wants to give something to his national team.
You saw the emotion that he showed at the end of Copa.
Yeah.
Come on. You thought he was going to sit there and let that die?
Well, and what
he's the type of competitor in his sport that some would say he's on track to be the Michael Jordan of his sport.
Oh, he's already the Michael Jordan of his sport.
To know that the type of competitive drive it takes to be that type of guy and that type of player in your sport, not on your team, in your sport, that's not the way you're going to let things end.
That's true. Yeah, the only one you would argue is even on his level is Ronaldo from Portugal, and that guy
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah, he is. That guy. Oh my goodness,
that guy's overly tan.
Boy, yes, overly tan, tall, powerful, strong.
It's almost wrong that guy could be so good looking and be that good of an athlete. I'm just saying.
Well, let's just.
You can't have both.
Let's just assume he's missing something more important.
I hope
so. But yeah, definitely. Something to watch. Argentina gave fits in the Copa. They look good enough to probably make a run in the World Cup, which would be in 2 more years, I believe. So let's see what happens. I think it's definitely a possibility for Argentina to get up there and really make some noise in the World Cup. Looks like Oakland just took
They're looking for a field goal.
17. No, that's extra point. Yeah. As I say, remember those extra points got moved back?
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, 17-3.
17-3 at the end of the first quarter here for Oakland.
Tyrod Taylor
gets Paid.
Hold on. Does anybody know who Tyrod Taylor is?
Yes.
I didn't think so.
Yes, I do.
Tell them who Tyrod Taylor is.
Tyrod Taylor, if you don't know, is the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
And he signed...
Formerly the backup quarterback in Baltimore.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, where did he go to college? I want to say he went to Virginia Tech is where he went to college.
You're correct.
They deemed him the next Michael Vick at Virginia Tech.
Yes, they did.
And he came out and went, oh, yeah, you're just a backup. You're not all that impressive. He played behind Joe Flacco this entire time. He's got a Super Bowl ring for being a backup. But then he signed with Buffalo and took over as the backup to E.J. Manuel. And E.J. Manuel got hurt and struggled. And then they went ahead and said, we'll give Tyrod Taylor a chance. And last year he showed, showed that, hey, I can compete here in Buffalo. I can be the number one guy.
Yeah.
If you put me in the right situation. And guess who knows how to put people in the right situation for that system? Rex Ryan. Yeah. He pounds the ball with Shady McCoy. And guess what? Tyrod Taylor's game opens up real damn fast.
Oh, yeah.
So they were figuring out a way to get him some money. Now, the details of his contract were not immediately disclosed to the media. But they've come out now this evening. Yeah. And the terms of the contract are what?
6 years, $90 million, and he could earn up to $20 million more through difficult-to-reach incentives. The Bills have a $10 million buyout option after the first year and another out after the second.
Now, that works for both sides, I would say. That, like, accommodating both sides, that the Bills get off cheap in the buyout and he gets some money in return. But as far as what he got paid if he plays this contract out, he is not worth $90 million. I'm sorry.
Right now, he's not worth $90 million. Let's wait to see what a full season gives him. I'm a big proponent of you can be good in the NFL for 1 year. But he
wasn't good last year. He was decent.
Okay, but here's the deal. You can do well 1 year. Let's put it that way. You can do well 1 year as an offensive player in the league. What are you going to do when you are being game planned day in and day out? Chris Berman said it one time, and this was years ago. The fastest learning machine in the world is a defensive coordinator in the NFL. You do not fool them very often. You might beat 2 or 3 guys a year, but everybody else is lined up ready to stop you. But like you said, Rex Ryan, he is a pound the ball kind of guy. They've got McCoy there. He's going to be healthy. They've also got Sammy Watkins there too. So Taylor's got a speedy receiver.
And they got a couple role player receivers that are solid.
They do. So this could be the right situation to protect him and let him grow a little more while they run Ryan's style of offense.
The good thing for him, while the contract is big, as far as his play, his expectations on their success in that division are not huge.
Yes.
Because the main team in that division is obviously New England.
Yeah.
Who's next? The Jets?
Yeah.
They can compete with the Jets.
Those bottom 3, I hate to say it this way, they're the bottom feeders of that division. They fight and claw for a wild card from week 1. And then they hope that New England runs into a bump here or there, and maybe they're in the thick, but they plan for wild card. They're looking at 11-5 to get a wild card. That's the way you plan that. And this deal is probably part of them saying, Tyrod gives us a chance to finish 11-5 and get into the wild card. Because you're not going to beat New England. You're not going to unseat New England without New England beating themselves.
Here's what I don't want to see. I don't want to see Geno Smith 2.0. Because Rex Ryan was the one that started with Geno Smith. Yeah. And he's the one that kind of derailed him to start with because they didn't have a running game.
I was going to say, they didn't set him up for success.
Yeah.
I think any quarterbacks that come out of those run-heavy schools, Virginia Tech, Auburn would be another one where they're real run-heavy. Alabama would be another one. LSU is another one. Those quarterbacks that come out of there, nobody really knows anything about them except that, 1, they can manage a game because that's basically what they're doing at those schools. And 2, and most importantly, they don't lose games for their team.
Right.
So when you take a quarterback from there, and we talked about A.J. McCarron, he came out of Alabama. All we knew about Alabama coming out of there was that they had a massive running game in the defense. Nobody really talked about McCarron. I watched McCarron in one of the national championships and went, this guy's going to get paid somewhere because he's mediocre, Turns out he ends up in Cincinnati, which I was like, yeah, good, we need a backup. Like I said, watching this guy develop has turned into fun. Watching him get the opportunity last year, I really thought they were going to trade him away. I thought he has some value. He definitely has some value right now, and you could get something for him now. 1 more year. I think he's got 1 more year left on his contract. you're going to have to let him go because you're not going to be able to pay him what somebody else is going to pay him. But having said
you could wind up in the Kirk Cousins RG3 situation.
I wouldn't think he's going to get that close to Dalton. I think they're going to put heavy stock in Dalton because of what Dalton has done.
Well, he's proved.
What he's proven. I mean, the guy's taken the team to the playoffs 5 years in a row. You know, 2 years he was hurt. 3 years he actually played and just laid an egg. But you're still, again, though I
okay, but let me ask this. At what point do you either fish or cut bait with Andy Dalton with knowing that he's having a hard time? Yes, you're getting to the playoffs, but at what point do you look at that and go, that's just not enough?
Well, that's what I was saying. They're going to be in a situation after this year. They just paid Andy a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, they extended him and they gave him the max deal. So you got to look at it and say, okay, can we get somebody to take Andy's paycheck? And I'm sure they'd be able to. I can see a dozen teams lining up to take that deal off of their hands. Then they take McCarron and they can pay McCarron and say, we'll give you 3 years and this, and if you can prove you can do this, then we'll give you the big one. Because Cincinnati, the Browns are doing that. But anyways, back to the QB situation. You know, Ryan, like you said, he had Geno Smith, wrong situation. And I think even Mark Sanchez fell into the wrong situation because they didn't have the running game. And that actually showed what Mark Sanchez could and couldn't do when the running game disappeared. And that's why Sanchez is getting paid still. It's because he's just a manager. And if all you needed was a manager, you're fine. He's going to be fine in Denver because he's protected by the defense and the running game. Okay? CJ Anderson and help me out, who's Denver's other running back? They got two of them. Is it Moreno?
Noshan Moreno?
Is it Noshan Moreno still?
No.
One of them just got arrested in jail.
It was Monty Ball.
Monty Ball's in jail. So I know they still have CJ Anderson. And they got another one.
Ronnie Hillman?
There you go. He's protected by a running game. He's got Demaryius Thomas. They have Virgil there. They're tight end. I mean, they're gonna be fine. They don't need Sanchez to go over there and throw long balls to Demaryius Thomas. And if it turns into that, I'm sorry, Denver, you ain't going nowhere with that. But they're definitely gonna be able to protect him. Having said that, Taylor's got the right situation in Buffalo. He's got the running game. They've got McCoy. They looked decent last year when McCoy was healthy. I think they'll be all right.
Yeah.
Again, though, competing for a wild card spot, you know, unless I don't know how it would happen. New England goes 0-4 to open up the season with Brady off. I really don't see them.
Even if they were to go 0-4 with Jimmy Garoppolo, Tom Brady's gonna come back pissed off.
Yes, he is, and that'll be against Cincinnati.
And that'll be a problem for a lot of teams.
Yeah, definitely.
Moving on to some MMA news. Tyrone Woodley, his first title defense for his newly won welterweight title will be against Wonderboy Thompson.
Didn't that what I think I called that?
You
one.
did
Yeah,
call
I did
that
call
one.
that one, didn't I?
Dana White said that Wonderboy has deserved the shot, although Woodley had openly said he wanted to fight either GSP or Nick Diaz.
Do you think Nick Diaz could have competed with him?
No, not after an 18-month layoff.
Okay. What about GSP?
He's been training this whole time that he's been away. It's just he hasn't wanted to compete on that level. So, I mean, that's the thing about that.
All right. Now, you said that Dana White said that Thompson deserves a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think he was still... I feel... I knew that this is where it was going to go. But do you feel like he deserves it? Or was he still one major fight away from deserving it?
No, I think he was next in line at the welterweight level. Yeah, if Woodley lost, it should have been Thompson Lawler. So Thompson should have got anybody, either one.
Either way.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other thing, Travis Brown steps in for Ben Rothwell coming up in September at UFC 203 to fight Fabricio Verdum.
Oh, that should be nice.
This is a rematch. The last time that Brown and Verdum fought, Brown lost.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
So we'll see what happened here. See what happens in the rematch
Be
here.
some vengeance here.
They were talking about Conor McGregor, Nate Diaz, which is next weekend, which we'll get more in depth in that card. It's a week from tomorrow.
I thought that was tomorrow. Oh,
No,
yeah.
it's a week from tomorrow. We'll get more in depth into that card next week. But Conor McGregor did an interview, and they asked him about his training camp this time. And they talked about his expenses for his training camp. Do you know what the ballpark number was that he gave on how much it's cost him to train for this camp? And I'm not talking about since months ago. I'm talking about since the last 2 months since he's been in Vegas.
Since they signed it in Vegas.
Since they made the deal and he's been training in Vegas.
I'm going to say $200,000.
Close.
Really?
300,000.
Wow.
Because he's had to rent out the mansion that they're staying in because he has his sparring partner staying in the mansion with him.
Okay. That
mansion sold for $2.5 million, and they're renting it out right now. He's flown in fighters from Ireland, boxers from Ireland, jiu-jitsu coaches and wrestlers from New York City, and accommodations for cars and food for everybody. So he's had that whole thing. And then on top of that, he has his own gym set up.
Yeah.
Like if you look on his new YouTube channel called The Mac Life, they show a lot of his gym. It looks like a garage door roll up and then it goes into like a bigger space in the back. There's actual photos that haven't been hung up yet that are lining up on that wall.
Huh.
So I'm pretty sure it's his own personal gym that they've set up for him like that for his Vegas setup. But his quote was, "I've spent around $300,000 for this camp. It's a small expense when you see how much I make after this fight's over."
I was just going to ask, have they set any ballpark figure for pay?
Yes, but it hasn't been let out to the media.
What did freaking steroid boy end up making?
Who, Lesnar?
Yeah.
He for the fight he made $2.5 million.
Okay.
But extra bonuses that like weren't reported.
Yeah.
They were saying it was somewhere closer to 8 to 10
total.
Yeah.
Do you think Connors is going to pass that?
Yes. He's already has in other fights.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
So $500,000 in training expenses by the time he gets to camp is really nothing for him.
Yeah, it's really not. And especially if he wins this fight.
Oh,
There's been some people talking shit about this fight because of what he said about Brock Lesnar in the WWE. Did you see the quote?
No.
The quote, they asked Conor about steroids and stuff, and of course he's been adamantly against them. And they asked him about Brock Lesnar, and he said, "Most of those WWE guys are pussies anyway."
Oh, shit.
That you have to give Lesnar credit for putting on the fight. He actually stepped into the cage, but he was juiced up to his fucking eyeballs, and I can't respect that. So, and most of those WWE guys are pussies anyway, and I knocked their heads off. So then that started a backlash from all these wrestlers on Twitter of, one guy said, "Would you like to do that individually, or should we all get in a line?" And then a couple people said, "Dude, you're the size of my left leg. Shut the fuck up." Roman Reigns was quoted with that one.
These guys are roided. They are bigger. You don't see a small guy in the WWE.
No. Finn Balor is probably the closest small guy.
I was going to say, very seldom do you see someone, I don't want to say small framed, but...
Nobody is at 145 as a featherweight.
Yeah, no.
These
guys are all...
The smallest guy you're going to get is somewhere around 180.
Yeah, I was going to say 200 pounds is about a good low weight for someone. Yeah. And that's going to be one of the smaller guys in
180, you're looking at your... was it...
your women's champion?
Yeah. No, because 170 is welterweight.
Yeah.
So you're above that. What's not light heavyweight? It's what is it? Middleweight.
Middleweight, yeah.
So middleweight is what like the lowest you're gonna find in the WWE.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of backlash about that, and people got pissed off, and then people tried to discredit him by saying, "Oh well, there's still tickets on the lower level that you could still buy. That this fight's not sold out." And blah blah blah. I got news for anybody that wants to discredit this. As a wrestling fan, I've watched wrestling for 28 years. I'm a diehard wrestling fan. We have periodic episodes of this podcast that are about wrestling and only wrestling, to the dismay of some. No names, Louis. But that's what it is. But Ariel Helwani had a great quote, and it said, "For all these wrestling fans that are getting ass hurt, isn't Conor McGregor playing the WWE game? He's promoting himself. He's making people talk about him and hate him and get you to dislike him, so you want to see him get his ass kicked. Guess what? You'll buy the fight."
Yeah.
And Ariel Helwani said WWE fans are so quick to turn and play the victim when the shit that they love so much and root for happens to them. It was a good quote. And not to mention that, I don't give a shit what anybody discredits Nate Diaz and Conor McGregor's card for if there's tickets and it's not completely sold out. Sold out or not, I guarantee you that the pay-per-view buys are what they're looking at. Not how many asses are in the seats in that actual building.
Oh, yeah.
Because the T-Mobile Arena is bigger than the MGM Grand. And I guarantee you the numbers they put up are going to be equal or bigger than what the MGM Grand can fit.
Definitely.
So what you're looking at is pay-per-view buys. And I promise, you heard it here on this podcast, and if you don't believe me, call me out on it. These numbers for 202 beat UFC 200.
Oh, yeah.
On pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, definitely.
Conor McGregor will own
just because of that fight.
Yes, the other fights on that card, Rick Story and Donald Cerrone. That's the co-main event. You know, there's a couple women fighting on Jessica I and who's the other girl's fight? It's another well-known name from the women that are fighting. This card is solid from top to bottom, and it's got the potential to have a solid top to bottom finish where we don't see decisions on every type fight, and we don't sit there and boo because people aren't doing shit.
Yeah,
we have a great setup on this card to see some great fights and good finishes. So I promise that these numbers do better than UFC 200.
Well, I have no doubt in my mind they will. Especially, I don't want to say 200 ended up being a disappointment, but I don't think. I think when they moved,
I would say disappointment, but I'd definitely say letdown.
Yeah, I think when McGregor got moved to a different one, it definitely lost some of its luster. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't care what anybody says. Lesnar is not a replacement.
Then to have John Jones pull out 2 days before the fight because of his shit, that just cost you pay-per-view buys. Yeah. Like, it may not, like, people aren't going to refund tickets, but that's going to cost you pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, oh, definitely.
You know, and that's a big thing. And especially for guys like Conor McGregor who have pay-per-view points in their contract. They're not worried about whether there's asses in seats. They're worried about the people on TV that are willing to drop that money and go, I'll pay $60 to watch him get beat again.
And we've said it before, that guy's he's the best seller of himself when he's out there, you know, doing media.
And that was the other thing was, some people came out and said, oh, this guy's fucking dumb for saying that he doesn't do all this stuff or he doesn't know that. He knows exactly what he's doing. Yeah. He's got people talking about him. Do people not understand that? Yeah. People hate, the same way that people hated Floyd Mayweather for running his mouth, they're now starting to do that to Conor McGregor, where he's a polarizing figure. I said this when we first started this fucking podcast. You either love Conor McGregor or you hate Conor McGregor. There's no, he's okay, I respect him. No. You either love the fact that he talks so much or you hate the fact that he talks so much. Yep. But one way or another, you either want to see him knock somebody's block off or somebody knock him out and shut him the hell up. Yep. And that makes you take your little remote and hit that order button and make sure that you watch those fights. Yeah. So understand that for as emotional as some people get about, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, and there's all this social media and they want to jump on social media like Twitter and say stuff about him, you're playing right into his hands. That's exactly what he wants you to do. That's what makes him relevant, by you continuing to talk about him. Yeah, definitely. And it's only going to get worse next week. Because next week, guess what happens? It's fight week, which means they have the webisodes, UFC embedded. Every day there will be a 10-minute episode on YouTube of him and Nate Diaz and the other fighters on that card and how they're prepping for that week going into the fight. Then by the middle of the week, they're going to have, like you said, they'll have the press conferences where they're talking about the fights. Then Friday nights, the weigh-in. You think that shit's going to go over smooth and not a peep out of him? Yeah. The only thing that I will say about this that I have totally respected is the fact that Conor McGregor has openly said, hey man, he beat me. I respect that. Then, since they've signed the rematch, he openly said to them, you know what? You know what I like about Nate Diaz? Is that I know he's not going to pull out. That at the same time that he sit here and runs his mouth, I know at the end of the day that he's stepping in that cage and he's going to fight me. Yeah. He's not going to pull out 2 weeks before. He's going to be there. And I know that I can prep accordingly. That I don't got to worry about somebody pulling out. Which is a big deal, you know? Yeah. No, and like you said, that week leading up to the fight, man, that guy gets more and more intense, and he'll draw more people. And I'm willing to bet when he signed his contract with the UFC, he made sure that those pay-per-view points were in there because he knew he was going to be able to sell himself. That's a guy that's been, if you've ever seen any of his interviews on YouTube or like some of the fight week interviews, that guy knows his worth and he knows what he's capable of and he throws it out there. And you, like you said, you either hate him or you love him, but either way, you want to watch him. And if he wins this fight, the argument that he made about not doing the press for UFC 200 is justified. Yeah. 100% justified if he wins this fight. Yeah, definitely. And don't forget, Louis, our bet is still on. I haven't forgotten. Yeah. Definitely. Any other UFC stuff? Yes. Chris Cyborg. She signed on another fight. Yes, she did. Again, another catchweight fight at 140. She won't cut to 135. Now, they did some sort of documentary with her where they videoed her like lead into her first UFC fight last time when she fought Leslie Smith. They actually showed her crumbled over in tears during the weight cut. So this cut to 140 is a whole lot harder than people think. For her.
Oh, I think anytime you're cutting more than like 15 pounds, you're going to reach into the depths of your soul.
Well, a lot of people have said, well, if you go to 140, how come you can't do 135?
They don't. Those are the
You're
people.
not going to see a Ronda fight. You're not going to see a Holly Holm fight.
Yeah.
You're not going to see a Miesha Tate fight at 145. It doesn't make sense for any of those three women who currently, you want to say Amanda Nunes because she's the champion? Okay. Those four women are not going to move up to 145 to fight Chris Cyborg.
Yeah.
It doesn't. They lose an advantage.
Yeah.
Because now they're carrying an extra 10 pounds that she's used to walking around with already. No, that's not going to happen. A catchweight fight, maybe, but that's a slim to none.
Yeah, I was going to say you might get one of those girls to take that. One of them.
So good luck on finding that girl to fight.
Yeah,
you
definitely.
know. But as far as UFC goes, there'll be more of that next week. Like I said, it'll be fight week, and I'll be out there, you know, definitely waving my McGregor flag. So.
We'll probably be watching it here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. One of the other things I wanted to mention, NFL, if you're done with your boys' rant there. Greg Hardy's still not signed.
Does that surprise you?
Yes.
Why?
Because this is a league that's hell-bent on
second chances.
On sacks. And
yeah, guys not having any and guys having too much, apparently.
And there's always that one coach that thinks that they can help turn someone around. Now, this might be a testament to how far gone this guy really is. I'm willing to bet people have brought him in and said, let's talk about this. You know, and if you show the wrong emotions to an owner or a GM or even a coach, no, we don't want to mess with it. There's upside, but there's not enough upside to sign this guy. This guy is evidently shown to the right or wrong people, however you want to word it, that he's not worth the effort. I'm going to tell you what. Cincinnati is a home, is a haven for people on the rebound looking for a second chance. Not just bad guys, but guys who think their career's over. Now, Mike Zimmer's in Minnesota now, so it's a little different. But Marvin Lewis is one of the best guys at helping guys find themselves and start to straighten out. Their best success story is going to be Adam Jones. But they also had Chris Henry, who was starting to straighten out before he was killed, before he fell out of that truck, I should say. You know, Odell Thurman experiment didn't work out as well, but again, they know when to cut their ties too. Another one, Mike Zimmer, a guy who prides himself on being able, I don't want to say to control his players, but to guide his players. He's not there. That makes me think that this guy is just gone. And I mean gone. They don't know. Who knows what's going on in that guy's head? Yes, I'm surprised. I would have thought there was at least one team willing to take a chance. You weren't going to get $5 or $8 million, or probably even 2 or 3. Maybe you got the veteran minimum. With I think it's like $750,000. You get the veteran minimum for 1 year to prove, 1, you can stay out of trouble with the law. 2, you can get along with your teammates, because the problems he was having in Dallas were more related to the team incident stuff, you know. And 3, you can be productive on the field. Now, when 3 is your be productive on the field, you've got some issues.
Yeah.
You know, when that's not, hey, you come in, be productive, we'll pay you. This is, hey, 1, you got to stay out of trouble. 2, you got to get along with your teammates. And if you can be productive, we'll bring you back. Whoa, come on, dude. Where did you go wrong? You know, you are arguably one of the best pass rushers in the league right now. Why can't you find a home? Time to do some soul searching, but
it doesn't.
You know,
it actually doesn't surprise me, because you go to Dallas where Jerry Jones is the king of second chances, and you didn't pan out there. Who the hell else wants to take a chance on that?
Yeah.
After you see that Jerry Jones, everything that Jerry Jones did to help you and give you an opportunity, and he didn't want to bring you back. If I'm another NFL owner or GM, I'm looking at that going, okay, if he did something wrong there, that's a problem, because they're pretty lenient there and they don't want to bring him back. I really don't look at that and go, oh no, that's surprising. Not to me. Ray Rice says that he's willing to donate his entire salary for the season if he were to sign a 1-year deal to domestic abuse charities or foundation if he got the opportunity to play.
He's scraping now. He is scraping. He is. We talked about him a couple of weeks back. We both agreed that was one of, if that not the most disturbing videos we'd ever seen player involved.
Oh, yeah.
Any sport, not just football, any sport. This guy just did not understand, and neither did his wife for that matter. I mean, because we've never really had the discussion, but we talked about a man's mind a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah.
You know, certain guys are wired certain ways, and when you don't control yourself, when you know you're getting out of hand, bad things will happen, especially for men. You know, men can be short-tempered. You insult a man's pride the wrong way, and he's going to get defensive. This guy just didn't understand where him and her were, and allowed himself to get in that situation to cause that video. Video doesn't get out. Yeah, I don't want to say it's swept under the rug, but he's probably disciplined, and he's probably still playing.
Yeah.
Shame. Guy was at the top of his game. Had just come off a good year. You know, was hurt a little bit, but still looked like he could play. He should still be playing. But again, I'll donate my pay for the season to. So what exactly are you going to be compensated with, buddy?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, come on. How real is that? You know, how real is it, bud? Yeah, you'll get a signing bonus, but.
NFL type related news. Tim Tebow says that he's going to try baseball and that he's going to hold an open workout here pretty soon for all the MLB teams to take a look at him.
MJ had the kind of notoriety to where he could walk into any bar and never pay for a beer. He could walk into any stadium and never pay for his own shit. Aside from the fact that he's, you know, godly rich. He could pretty much go anywhere and not have to pay for anything because of the respect they had for him. So when he went to baseball, it was like, come on over, MJ. You want to try it? We're going to put you in the majors. Wow, what a blow that was.
We're going to he played AAA, well.
He was on the White Sox roster for a little brief.
Yeah.
So he progressed his way down to single A at one point.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? It was what he wanted to do. He had already eclipsed what he could in basketball. Fine. I'm not trying to bash MJ for it. But this is a guy that had the notoriety. No, he had the notoriety to do that. He had a name already. Don't get me wrong. We've had conversations about Tebow left and right. I'm as pissed off at the league as anybody for nobody wanting to give this guy a chance. I mean, he wins a playoff game in overtime against Pittsburgh, and all of a sudden he disappears. Never to be heard from again, really. Yeah, you got a tryout here and a tryout there, but you're going to tell me one time Mark Sanchez is better than him? Oh, God.
Hell no.
Come on. Anyways.
Gary Sheffield went on record to say that he believes Tim Tebow will be playing in the pros in 2 years.
Well, I want to tell you what. Did you see his workout video? Did you see his batting practice hit video?
The recent one?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So, I'm not a baseball expert, but I did play baseball for a long time. I had some very good coaches, so I understand some fundamental concepts of it. So, I was watching him swing because I was like, okay, anybody can hit off a pitching machine. And when I say anybody, if you give me 5 minutes with somebody who's never held a bat, I could get them to hit off the pitching machine. Okay? It's not difficult. What I was looking for Tebow was more of his weight shifting and how he was swinging through, hands over, hands under, whatever, lead hand, trail hand, stuff like that. He looked pretty thorough. Okay? Now, bear in mind, this is the guy that could not be stopped from 4 yards out. They could stack the side of the line.
A lot of people don't know that he was a stud in baseball in high school.
Yes, and I was going to say, he's got the baseball background. He just chose football.
Yeah.
So this was one. This is going to go back. This guy's 26?
Give or take.
27, give or take a year or two. This guy is the last, I don't want to say the last era, but one of the last eras of multi-sport superstars.
Yeah.
Not athletes, superstars. This guy was a multi-sport superstar at his high school.
Yeah.
Okay? He's got the ability. He would have been playing minor league ball somewhere, if not already in the pros if he goes baseball.
Yeah.
So, why not? I'm surprised.
He's not. People think that this is a joke because they're like, oh, he must be grasping at straws here.
Oh, this is
He's
not.
got a good job as an analyst for the SEC network.
Yes.
He doesn't need baseball. Like, that's the thing. People think, oh, he needs something. No, he doesn't.
I think he wants to do something he loves, and when football didn't pan out, I wish he'd have thought of this earlier because
instead of sitting for 2 years.
I don't want to say. I don't think he's been so much. I don't want to. You want to call it sitting as too much as
I say
waiting
as
to
in
make
like
a decision.
out of it. Like,
I think he should have gone to it and said, you know what, if football's not going to work, I can go back and play baseball.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you try baseball. Whatever. I'm probably in the same boat as him. But I think everybody thought he was going to get another chance somewhere, and he hasn't.
Okay, so do you agree in 2 years we'll see Tim Tebow playing baseball in the pros with Gary Sheffield? Do you agree with Gary Sheffield?
No. I think it will take a couple.
So you do see him playing professional baseball?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I do. And like I said, I watched some of those videos, and the guy is definitely an athlete.
One of the things Brendan Schaub was quoted as saying on the Fighter and the Kid podcast, because he's friends with Tim Tebow, he said, people think that he needs this, he doesn't. and that he was actually really good in baseball and stuff like that. And then he
Yeah.
goes, and for the people who don't know, like, he genuinely loves sports, and he's a whole lot closer to God than most of us. So I think he's got some help.
He's definitely getting the edge, huh? That's funny. Yeah, no, you read a lot of reports. The guy will say he doesn't need it. He's a good guy. This guy's one of the few genuinely good guys from what we can tell so far. Doesn't have no closet anything, to pull out really, so to speak. So he's definitely out there doing what he wants to do. And if he wants to play baseball, he's going to play baseball. And like Schaub said, the guy is a godly man. He's definitely got God in his side. And if he wants to do that and God wants him to, you're going to watch that guy soar,
Right.
What kind of headline would that be? Tim Tebow succeeds in MLB where NFL didn't want him to.
How big? I don't think that makes like egg on the NFL's face, but it definitely makes some coaches look stupid.
Oh, yeah. I mean, oh, jeez.
Like, for anybody that went, oh, he can't play quarterback, he can play somewhere else, and then they went, nah, he's no good.
Yeah.
You should have gave him a shot.
So, okay, did we mention this? Did we mention the Kaepernick quote or the Kaepernick?
No, not yet.
So Colin Kaepernick's over in Frisco, right? He's got a new coach,
Chip Kelly.
He's got a system-friendly coach now.
Yeah.
A coach that needs that kind of quarterback. Arm fatigue.
Yeah.
Does somebody want to say a mistake? I'm not one to bash.
Did somebody say steak?
Yeah. I'm not one to bash players from small schools, but when you order a small school quarterback, you get a small school mentality, which is not... Okay, we'll use Tebow because we're talking about Tebow in Florida and Kaepernick in Nevada. Who do you think has more urgency when it comes to competing?
Urgency? What do you mean by urgency?
When they step onto the court or the field in this
Who
instance,
has more competitive drive? Is that what you're asking?
That's better. Yeah.
I think that... Well, I don't know. See, that's weird because I think that's subjective to player, not school. Because if you look at somebody like Tim Tebow, he's driven. Like, you've seen the NFL audio clips and stuff of him sitting there going, it's the end of the game, I want the ball. I'm the guy that's going to make that decision. But when you look at Colin Kaepernick in college, he was a stud. He was a two-sport stud. That, to me, didn't have to do with his school. That was him. And he's always been, from the very beginning, a more laid-back guy.
Would you say him playing at Nevada would be like me or you playing at the junior high?
No.
So why wasn't he at a bigger school?
To me, I think people... Well, it comes down to a number of things. I think that attitude goes a long way with coaches when you're coming out of somebody from high school because kids are kids when they're in high school. They have a lot of fucking maturing to do.
Yeah.
And when you have somebody like Kaepernick who has shown immaturity in San Francisco for sure, who has showed this laid-back mentality and a lesser sense of urgency than some players, that when you're coming into a system like the San Francisco 49ers with Jim Harbaugh at the time, and you have an opportunity to take advantage of it, and you're not doing the stereotypical happy to be here quotes and shit to the media, and you're going against the grain going, hey, man, I'm having fun here, and you're wearing a hat that's not your team and all this other stuff, and that shit rubs people the wrong way because for whatever people think it's not, the NFL and their organizations are commercial.
Yeah.
It's about the almighty dollar. Don't think that it's not. When you wear, in Colin Kaepernick's case, it was a Miami Dolphin hat, and you're a member of the 49ers, and you're not, like, out with a Miami Dolphin player as a friend, that, like, you're showing that you're supporting your friend, that you're just wearing that in general, what are you saying about the organization you play for?
Yeah.
What's the message that you're saying about your organization to the public is what they're looking at.
So, bearing all of this that you're saying in mind, apply that to the question. Does he have more competitive spirit? You could even take. Let's
competitive drive compared to Tim Tebow. No.
Okay.
Tebow beats that, but it's not on a school.
Let's
basis.
take Tebow out of it. Let's go to Oklahoma and let's go to Jason White, who was a good college player.
I don't really know a whole lot about Jason.
Oklahoma quarterback, 4 years, two national championships. He was a good quarterback. The knock on him was the arm strength when pros. He never got the chance in the pros. I think he backed up for like 2 years or something. It was a late draft. Anyways. But a national championship, the program was there. The program was in its prime when he was there. Okay? So compare him to Kaepernick now. And the reason I'm saying this is because you got Kaepernick who's just...
Because that's athleticism versus system.
Well, is it?
Yeah.
Kaepernick
Look at Alabama.
Well, it wasn't Alabama.
And look at I know, but listen to what I'm saying. Look at Alabama. AJ McCarron didn't come in and go, "Hey, there's our starter, right there. That guy needs to be our starter." He literally was the poster boy for what Alabama did.
Yeah.
It was Nick Saban's boy.
Yeah.
Take away the good-looking girlfriend. He was the poster boy of that offense.
Yeah.
It was like, "Hey, we got AJ McCarron. We're not worried."
Yeah.
He didn't come in and go, "Andy Dalton, I want your job. I'm taking your spot." It's, hey, he's got to learn, and he's not exactly what we thought he was. And he's a national championship winner, a national championship quarterback, in a system that is built on winning national championships with Nick Saban.
Yeah.
Oklahoma. Look at Sam Bradford. Oklahoma. Sam Bradford goes out and plays like a fucking stud and decides to stay an extra year and gets hurt and misses his window, in my opinion, on what could have been a greater opportunity in his career.
Oh, yeah.
Now where is he? Floating around. Because as much as people want to give him a home, people don't want him in their system all the time. Yeah. It's, oh, he's good right now. He fits for us here. Well, is he your franchise guy? I don't know yet.
Yeah. He's another one that I felt like is just getting used wrong, though. He's in the wrong style of offense.
Oh, I agree. But on a system thing, you're looking at a small school where you don't have the coordinators that you have at a big school. You don't have the exposure that you get at a big school in Nevada with Colin Kaepernick. So you take a guy like Colin Kaepernick, who's a dual threat, who now makes your off. If you're the head coach, you want somebody that brings the most to the table.
How can you call the guy a dual threat?
Because he holds the record for the playoffs at 187 yards rushing.
One good year. Didn't I say?
In college, he was a dual threat, and that's what we're basing this off of.
But he's, again, at Nevada, in the WAC.
That's what we're talking about, though, is that there, you need that. You're not saying, hey, because, okay, let's say this. Let's say this. You take him and go to a big school.
Could you? Okay, so let's put him somewhere.
Okay.
Virginia Tech or Auburn.
No. Auburn. Let's not even go Virginia Tech. Let's go somewhere where there's an established quarterback there that still has his senior year, or he's a junior going into a senior year as a red shirt. Okay, somewhere where he has to learn for a year or two before he gets there.
Okay.
And now you change him. Now he's only a pocket passer in that system. Do you get the same Colin Kaepernick or a more successful Colin Kaepernick?
I think you get the same one.
Exactly. See, and that's why I think that the school has no bearing on that. Because if you're getting the same guy who's going to produce the same, who can have a good year, when you find him in a spot where you go, oh, I didn't know he could run, and then you set him up, well, nobody had fucking seen Colin Kaepernick run. Yeah. Nobody had seen what he could do in that system, and Jim Harbaugh went, I have. Well, nobody has tape on this kid. Yeah. Let's make him work. As soon as people got tape on their running plans with him and their packages that they used, suddenly all that shit stopped.
Right out the window.
So you can't say, oh, well, if we put him here, it's a different guy. Or not. No, you're still going to get the same mediocre results. You're just changing his style of play. So I don't think that the school matters as much as it does about the person.
Okay, fair statement. I'm just thinking small school quarterback, small brain, small mentality, small-minded, and
you would think though, like you look at a guy like Ben Roethlisberger. He didn't go to a big school.
No, but
that dude came in with a chip on his fucking shoulder.
Well, and that's the difference, though. Okay, there are these small stuff. I don't want to say that small school guys can't make it because Ben Roethlisberger might be the poster child for that.
Yeah.
Marshall Faulk. Where did Marshall Faulk go to college? San Diego State.
Oh.
Local. Okay.
Yeah.
Nobody gave that guy a chance in hell, and he went and tore shit up. Okay. Another poster child for small school. You know, a WAC school at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I just think that certain colleges stayed away from him because the guy had the tools to play at a Virginia Tech or at a big, I don't want to say Alabama because they were looking for a style, but any of those big running schools, he could have been there. But again, the small school had to keep him because it's the only place that would put up with him, and you got to put numbers up in the WAC. I'm sorry, it's not a defensive happy school. But anyways, so again now. To kind of emphasize a little bit of what I was saying, he's somewhere now with someone who was a big school coach.
Mm-hmm.
Are we seeing
my Ducks.
Are we seeing someone who couldn't have made it out just by the proof of him being coached now?
What do you mean?
Kelly was a big school coach.
Right, in Oregon.
Kelly's running his program, I'm assuming somewhere
Pretty
close
close
to what he ran at Oregon.
Right.
Okay? Kaepernick's having problems.
He's never had the reps and the speed that Chip Kelly plays. That I don't want to say that's different, but he's trying to play a college pace at a pro level.
Yeah.
And he saw how well that went in Philly.
Yeah. But he didn't have the right guys in Philly though.
Right.
Well,
True.
not the right quarterback.
True.
He had some of the other pieces, but
you have to remember something. They haven't asked Colin Kaepernick to throw the ball as many times and get off as many plays as they're asking him to now. So I don't think it's just him. I think it's anybody you put in that position with a new Chip Kelly. They're going to go, fuck, man, I never throw this many balls in a day in practice. Or, oh, hey, well, now it's a weekend of training camp. Fuck, my arm feels like it's going to fall off.
we didn't hear that with Nick Foles, Sam Bradford.
Because those guys were willing to shut up and do their job because they had to earn their spot. Colin Kaepernick is the guy in San Francisco. And you said yourself, he's the guy that ideally fits Chip Kelly's system.
Yeah.
It's damn sure not Blaine Gabbert.
You'd be surprised. Another guy with a good-looking wife, by the way.
I'm mad at it.
So, yeah, just food for thought. If you're a Frisco fan, we're clowning your boy. I said he shouldn't have got paid. He got paid, and look where we're at. Fatigued arm. 3 weeks into training camp and preseason, a month. I mean, if you're that young, we had a game last night, and there was only 4 people there. And I don't know about you, but I woke up sore as fuck this morning.
The only reason why I woke up sore was that collision I had.
Yeah, well,
Where I possibly may or may not have cracked a rib.
you'd know if it's cracked. Believe me.
I've cracked 3 ribs and separated them before. It was a very similar pain.
Okay, so I came home dead as shit last night, and
You're also old. But
well, okay, so this ties into it.
Okay.
I'm 38, going on 39 years old. Okay, I was a heavily involved athlete until I was 20, and then family life kicks in. You change the pace. You get your man body. You put on your man weight. I went up and down in weight. I've always been somewhat active for the last 6-7 years. It's tougher for me. I do get fatigued in instances like last night. Okay,
Right.
This guy's 20-something years old.
Mid-20s?
If you're getting mid-late 20s, if you're getting fatigued at this point, just because there's a change of pace and you're having,
But you have to understand, it's not him getting fatigued. It's muscle fatigue.
again,
That's different.
how are you taking care? My whole point is this is the whole mentality. of
You
this
just
guy.
said something right now.
How are you
taking care of your
yourself?
body?
Yeah.
He probably hasn't had to take care of his body on the level that he thought he did. Because in the other system, you had Frank Gore, Carlos Hyde, guys that could run the shit out of the ball and didn't have to make him run. Guys that, were their system built on throwing deep passes or short West Coast style passes?
Yeah.
He threw a lot of mid-range stuff and short stuff, like an almost West Coast style offense with Jim Harbaugh. The deep ball wasn't something that he pulled out all the time.
Yeah.
Well, now it's not about depth, or as we relate this to weight training, it's not about how much weight he's pushing now. It's about how much volume he's doing. And that's where the problem's coming in.
Yeah.
20 pounds, this is the relativity factor. 20 pounds feels like 150 pounds when you do 100 reps with 20 pounds.
Which was the difference in this last workout.
Yes.
There's more of an exclamation point on it. Yeah, definitely. So, well, we ran all over the map today, but covered a little bit of everything. No word from listener 12?
No, he's actually handling some family business. The son went to school for the first time this week. Done well. No tears. Mom cried, but the son didn't.
Mom's always cry.
Yeah.
The boys don't cry. Manuel didn't cry when we dropped him off, so good memory. Good memory. But
He loves school. Kids.
Your mom put those pictures up. I saw him. So it's
my understanding was the phone call I got was he's loving school. They like that he's interactive, but he's got to learn that he has to raise his hand first before he talks. That's the big one right now. Is that he puts his hand up, but he just goes.
So they got to make him do that at home, and that'll
help that out.
Reinforce it a little bit. So
yeah.
So we're up. We're gonna wrap it up now. What to watch for?
What to watch for? Let's see. We got
preseason football all weekend, baby.
But track and field has started tonight with the Olympics.
All right. What the fuck? All right. I didn't go to work today.
I didn't figure you did when you told me you were watching soccer. I thought that was some bullshit.
I didn't go to work today. Track and field was supposed to be on. It was on. They showed the 800 meter prelims, the 5,000 meter, and something else.
For those people who listen to the show in layman's terms, what is a meter, 100 meters in running?
Okay,
so somebody says, oh, it's the 4x100.
Yeah. So if you're running 100 meters, it's basically equivalent to a turn or a straightaway. It's 110-yard dash.
So how much is a full lap?
A full lap would be considered 400 meters or 440 yards. Now, the United States, for some reason, is the only country in the fucking world that still uses the standard system. So we use inches.
Hey, it's because we're America, bro.
We use inches. We use pounds. Well, I'm just going to say it. I think 8 inches sounds a hell of a lot better than, what is it, 18 centimeters or whatever.
Agreed.
Whatever.
Agreed.
So, anyways. The United States has not caught up with that yet. Everybody else uses the metric system. So we always see terms like 100-meter dash or 400-yard dash or 4x100 meter relay or 4x4. That's why they still use that. It's an international unit.
Right.
And the United States knows it. It's not standard practice for us here. Everywhere else for gallons, they'll use liters. They'll use centimeters, meters, kilometers, whatever. So when we talk about 800 meters, that's 2 laps. The 100 meters is obviously a 110 or one straightaway when they run it by itself.
Yeah.
A 200 would be the turn and a straightaway of the track.
So it's a half a lap.
It's a half a lap, but they run it as a turn and a straightaway.
Yeah.
You know, and they stagger the start. So the guy in lane 9 will start farther because he's got farther to run. But by the time they get the straightaway, it all equals out. Yeah.
Yeah. So track and field starts tonight. It started at 8 o'clock, so it's already started
earlier. It was supposed to be on earlier, but they're choosing. NBC's choosing what they broadcast, and they'll show according to what they think will get the ratings. So like the U.S. soccer was on earlier. U.S. basketball was on
the NBC Sports Network. It wasn't on the actual NBC channel.
Well, NBC has 10,000 channels, so they're going to show. You know, you got to kind of fish around to find.
And it was cool that the girls played, then the guys played back to back.
Oh yeah, that was a good setup. Whoever planned that real good. But again, so NBC will show whatever they think got the ratings. And today, like the U.S. basketball, U.S. soccer, the U.S. was rowing earlier. That's actually pretty cool. If you've never watched that, it's pretty cool.
No, I'd rather not watch people rowing through shit.
Yeah, they're in a.
Oh, there's a quick thing, real quick. The diving pool turned fucking green.
They did not have the right kind of chemicals in there, and the pH balance went jacked up.
Yeah,
I saw that. I was like,
and it was right next to a pool that's like perfectly blue.
Yeah. So it makes you wonder what's really in that fucking water.
Well, what they said was that although it's not toxic or contagious to any of the divers or swimmers, that it's a algae problem.
Yeah,
is what it is, and that because it was outdoors, that the temperature changed with the heat and everything, it caused that algae to grow and multiply quicker than what they were expecting, and they didn't have the correct chemicals to take care of it. And the problem that it arises, apparently they were more than willing to have the divers jump in still with it being green, but the problem being that they're not able to judge depth.
Yeah.
And that was the issue, so they held off.
Funny shit. I told you this Rio shit was going to be crazy.
I'm just happy to hear that nobody's been mugged or anything like that so far.
You need to watch some of the videos. You haven't seen any of the public videos yet? Go on YouTube and pull some of those up. Watch the fucking thieves going through there. Oh, man, it's crazy.
Oh, I bet you it's just like if you were in like Japan or China with all these millions of people, you get pickpocketed, you're fucked because you'll never see them. They're gone. Like there's people, so many people around you all the time.
It's pretty simple.
These Olympic villages are no joke when you're trying. What I want to know, this is something that crossed my mind, and maybe you can help me with this. If you live in like Rio right now, because that's where the Olympics are, do you got to buy a ticket to the Olympics for one thing? And secondly, if you buy a ticket, do you get into every event?
No, there's every event. Okay, so like track and it's like a daily thing. So if you buy a ticket to go to a basketball game, you get that basketball game. Or if there's multiple guys, like the tournaments, like the NCAA tournament, how they do those, that's similar to that. Track events are like a day admit pass, so you get to the track.
Everything that's going on that day, you get to see.
Whatever you're doing. So if you're watching rowing, you can sit there and watch. Whatever you're watching, you get the duration,
the whole day of
duration of whatever it is.
Oh, okay.
So,
I wonder how expensive that is.
Well, when they were in Atlanta, I looked into some tickets because I wanted to go. I wanted to see it. They weren't that pricey. I think $60 for track and field.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
It was not bad.
It's not bad at all.
That was 1996.
Yeah.
We are 20 years later now.
Right.
So I don't know.
It's probably 120, 130 now.
It's very possible. Very possible. So, food for thought, man. I'm gonna have to look into that. That'd be interesting to know. That'd be real interesting to know. Anything else to watch for? Fight tomorrow? Anybody fighting tomorrow?
No fights tomorrow. Not any boxing matches going on.
Not tomorrow. Nothing big. Nothing on the.
NBA schedule was released.
Oh, was
this
it?
week?
Oh, nice.
So if you have a favorite team,
Are we going
check
to
it out.
Sacramento, LA? Anybody going anywhere?
March 8th, Celtics Warriors.
Ooh, that Oakland. I got family that might have season tickets. I'm gonna hit them up.
Ooh, ask.
That might be a good one.
Yeah, that's a big one. Celtics as a Celtic fan, you always want to know how many TV games they have.
Yeah.
Last year, do you know how many games they had on TV?
It was 20.
No,
not that many.
Last year they had 7 televised.
Oh well,
games.
I have the pass. So,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
My bad.
But regular scheduled televised games,
okay.
they had 7. You know how many they got this season?
4.
22.
Oh, nice.
They're coming back. They got Al Horford. They got
back-to-back playoffs.
Yeah, so they got an opportunity here to show some
playoffs
things.
this time,
Yes.
too.
They're playing on Christmas Day this year.
Oh, nice.
They'll be playing the Knicks.
Oh,
so,
nice. That'd be awesome.
So that'll be a good one. Get to see them play Derrick Rose and Carmelo Anthony and
Yeah.
Joakim Noah. So that'll be good. So yeah, if you have a favorite team, go find out what the schedule looks like.
Yeah.
See what your games are. That way you can go ahead and mark your calendar for the games you want to watch before preseason football is over and everybody's submerged in full football effect.
Football, yeah.
Do you know when Fresno State's first game is?
No, I haven't seen that schedule.
I haven't looked yet.
And
I'm
those
not sure
those are other tickets that are real popular for us because people at the church are always don't always use their tickets.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I get calls all the time from a couple of people that are like, "Hey, do you want to use these tickets? Are you interested in them?" A lot of the times I say no. I have been to a couple with them, so they're pretty fun.
Yeah,
they're pretty fun.
So yeah. So what to watch for the Olympics?
That's
what to watch for this
the Olympics
weekend.
all weekend, man.
Next weekend we'll have the fights and WWE SummerSlam is Sunday.
That's right.
So it'll be a busy weekend next weekend. So we'll cover some more of the fights rolling in next week and kind of go from there. See what happens.
All right. So this has been episode 30.
30 deep.
I'm Manuel.
Justin.
We've been
Totally unprofessional.